Hi everyone, it's Andrew from Hobbies Australia, and today we're going to have a look at some new kits from the brand ARMA Hobby that have just arrived in our warehouse. The kit I really want to have a look at today is the ARMA Hobby kit 40009, and that is their Sea Hurricane Mk IIc. So in a relatively short period of time, ARMA Hobby have cut out for themselves a very good reputation. Their initial kits in 1/72, things like their Japanese Oscars, etc., incredibly well received by the modelling community, and they've just gone from strength to strength. This brand started off as a sleeper, but it's gaining momentum, and I really think it's a brand to keep your eye out for because these guys are really doing some wonderful stuff. So let's crack open this box, let's see what's in there. So we can see the box art here from ARMA Hobby. It's quite attractive. It obviously lays out what the kit is. We've got a nice image of the aircraft in action with a German Focke-Wulf Condor in the background there. Goes on to talk about the fact that we've now got 3D printed parts included in the box. Quickly flip that over. We can see the various marking options on the back of the box. On the side, we've got some warnings in multiple languages, and then just the APN number and a few other bits and pieces there. Probably the one thing that's been brought up about ARMA Hobby, if there's an opportunity, and that is the packaging. Now, ARMA Hobby, instead of a top lifting box, do an end opening box. But what they do in their 1/48 scale, and let's move that over, we can see there we've got this nice rigid cardboard filler, and that's fantastic. But if we look at their 1/72, that's what I get. So I guess as an opportunity, because we buy models, we put them in the stash, we stack them up. Those types of end opening boxes, they don't necessarily last terribly long in the stash before they start to sustain some damage. So I like the fact they've now put this heavier cardboard insert in the box in the 1/48 scale. I just wish they'd do something similar with the 1/72, but hey, that's my personal gripe. Let's keep moving. So get the kit out, and we've got a bag with the grey plastic parts, the sprues. We've got the clear sprues. We've got a very nice a very nice instruction booklet, very reminiscent of what we'd get from the people at Edward. And then we have masks for the canopies. And then we have this really nice decal sheet, which we'll go and have a look at shortly. And then the other thing is, secured into the corner of the box, we have these marvellous 3D printed parts. But what we've got is 3 sprues of grey plastic, flash free, they're crisp, the detail on them is superb. I'm just really impressed with what the guys at ARMA Hobby are producing. Every kit seems to be that next step along the progression to a superior model, and it's really very impressive. Loads of detail on here moulded in, things like dials. We've got the ribbing texture from the surface of the Hawker Hurricane. Looks amazing. Flattened wheels, which is really nice. Internal structures for the cockpit, that's great. The control stick with the firing grip, etc., that's really nicely done. Here's obviously the main fuselage, the 3-bladed propeller. We've got bombs. We've got 2 different types of spinners. We've got auxiliary fuel tanks, which look great. Internal detail on the cockpit looks great again. No knockout marks or ejector holes, ejector pin marks that are going to cause any grief. Interestingly enough, here where the fuselage is attached to the sprue, the actual joining part is on the mating surface, so you want to be careful when you take that out to make sure that you don't muck up any of your joining surfaces. For me, however, this sprue is the standout, and I'll try and get this a little bit closer, so hopefully you can see them, but the rivet detail here on the surfaces, it's just amazing. I just can run my finger over it and I can just feel each of the individual rivet lines. It's amazing stuff in injected plastic. It's just so subtle. It's so very nicely done. It's really a testament to what the people at ARMA Hobby are trying to achieve. I just want to point out here that these are the cannons that are injected moulded plastic. And what we'll do is we're going to have a look at some 3D printed pieces that come with the kit. And I'm going to get Ryan to do a comparison shot, one alongside the other, and just the difference that something as simple as replacing the cannon barrels, just the difference that makes to the overall look of the model is just phenomenal. So the next sprue we'll have a look at here is the transparencies. Now, okay, you've obviously got the windscreen front, the canopy, you've got the wingtip lights, etc., the covers for the landing lights and the leading edge of the wing. They're just beautifully done. They're so thin, they're so crystal clear. They're just amazing. The gun sight, it's just wonderful stuff. So what we've got here are the kabuki paper masks for the canopy, windscreen, etc. Also for the wheels, so you can get the tyres and the hubs all done separately. Looks really amazing. You know, again, to find these included in the package now is becoming more and more commonplace. These niche brands like, you know, Edward, like ARMA Hobby, this is the level that we're all starting to come to expect to find inside the box, and it's really very nicely done. The decal sheet is from a company called TechMod, which many of you would be familiar with. They're very, very nicely done. We've got 3 marking options for this aircraft. We also, you know, apart from the national markings and the squadron and aircraft markings, we've got things like the Sutton harness for the seat. We've got cockpit detail there. Again, very, very nicely done, all in register, very little in the way of excess carrier film, just a very, very nicely done range of decals that are going to make this aircraft very, very impressive when it's finished. So if we have a look at the instruction booklet, it's a nice glossy A4 size. There's 12 pages showing 37 construction steps, and then of course we've got some painting and marking options on the back couple of pages. Colour call-outs here from various brands. What do we got? AK, Mission, Ammo, Humbrol, Vallejo, Tamiya. But again, you know, using any sort of comparison chart that's available, you can obviously select a colour range from your favourite brand of paint, and away you'll go from there. The part count isn't high. We can see the sprue layout there, but it's very, very nicely done. You know, instructions here are clean, they're crisp, they're concise. Reading through it, there doesn't seem to be anything untoward. They're not overly busy. There's a lot going on for sure, but they're not overly busy. So, you know, again, as I always say to people, please take your time, sit down with a cup of tea or coffee, read through the instructions before you start the construction process to make sure that you're familiar and happy with what it is that you're trying to achieve. Instrument detail there looks fantastic, whether it be with a decal or individual painting, that's great. Colour call-outs for the cockpit, wonderful. Options there. I really do like the Sea Hurricane. You know, I sort of did some research on this, and it's always been an aircraft that always amazed me, that the guys who operated this off carriers and then off those catapult-armed merchant ships would throw themselves off perfectly good warships or ships to go out and face the enemy. Just amazing stuff. Flicking through here again, we can see the process. We've got we're fitting cannons, and again we'll talk about those in a minute. You know, you've got your options there with your spinner. What are you going to do? Are you going to have extra fuel tanks? Are you going to have bombs? Your option. As I said, what have we got there? 35, 36, 37 construction steps to get the model built, and then we have the options for painting and marking. Now, as you can see here, we've got QR codes, and this is a really nice touch because I can scan those and it will give me additional information on the airframe that I'm looking at. Really nicely done. You know, kudos to the team at ARMA Hobby. They really are doing a very good job, and I'm looking forward to seeing more and more new kits from them. Okay, so I guess here I'm saving what I think is the best to last. Now, these are the 3D printed parts that are supplied with the model, and this is really going to test Ryan how he can do this. But okay, we've got barrels, machine gun barrels, we've got exhaust stubs, we've got the underside of the airframe where the arrestor hook would sit recessed into the fuselage of the aircraft. And then in there, and it's going to be a little bit hard to see, we've got a pilot's seat with the Sutton harness printed on it. And look, if I can just get these a little bit closer to you now, hopefully Ryan will be able to pick this up for you with some closer images. But we can see here with the 3D printing, well, I can anyway, things like the barrels on the cannons have been printed so that the muzzles are actually hollow. Likewise here with the exhaust, we can see in there where the fishtail part has actually been printed as a hollow piece. Now, you know, once upon a time, if we wanted to do that on an exhaust, we'd have to sit there very, very carefully with, you know, maybe a sewing needle in a pin vise and just gently scrape it out until we started to get the indentation we wanted, and then become a little bit more aggressive with it. So there are a couple of the other kits that have come in this shipment. We've got the Tropical Hurricane Mark II in 1/48. We have seen that before in 1/72, but now they've upscaled it. Looks fantastic. Do like the Sea Hurricane in 1/48, and they've also released it in 1/72, so there's really some opportunities there for you, depending on what your preferred scale is, and of course, you know, if you're a fan of the Hurricane. So that's my overview of the new ARMA Hobby kit 4009, the Sea Hurricane in 1/48 scale. That kit, as I said, is in our warehouse now. It's shipping to retailers, both bricks and mortar hobby stores and online retailers now, so you should be able to easily obtain this model by the time this video goes up onto YouTube. So yeah, if you want to have a look at a great model kit, and one that I highly recommend, keep your eye open for the range of model kits, not just this one, but anything from ARMA Hobby. They really are doing a fantastic job. So as always, until next time we can catch up, I'm Andrew from Hobbies Australia. Stay safe, take care, and with all this horrible cold weather, let's get indoors and let's build more kits. Bye for now.